Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate. This is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and today I have a whip and chat for you. It's been a couple of weeks since I posted anything, and that is because I had a really busy weekend last weekend with my daughter and her boyfriend coming to visit all weekend. So I had mentioned in my vlog the week before that I probably wouldn't be posting that week. But now it's been a week since then, and I have a lot to catch up on with you guys. Before we get into all that though, I want to let you know what I'm working on. In the background, I am working on Rose Library by Ivy Dolomore, and if you have visited my channel before, you'll have seen this one. It's been a whip of mine since right before May when Michaela Renee did the Ivy Dolomore DP along. And I knew I wouldn't finish it that month because I have more than one project that I'm always working on, and I don't always have a whole lot of time to diamond paint. But I am enjoying every bit of this kit. It is so gorgeous. I'm using a pen from Diamond Art Club. It's the one that has like the twist-on multiplacer. And then I am using a Muni-Made tray. And I did record this footage previously separately, and now I'm doing a voiceover for the actual chat part of the whip and chat because when I recorded the diamond painting part, it was daytime, and I have a lot of trouble recording a whip and chat when it's daytime because I get interrupted quite a bit. So I decided to just film the diamond painting portion and then do the chatting portion later in the evening when everybody was in bed and it was a bit quieter. So that's what we're doing. And also I feel like I have a bit more control this way over how the narrative goes, and I can pause when I need to, and it involves less editing on the back end. And since I have so much to catch you up on over what happened over the past 2 weeks, I decided to do it this way this time. I'm recording this Saturday night, and my sister-in-law Katie left just a little bit ago. We spent the evening watching more Medium, a show from the early 2000s that I love and she's never seen. I talked about it in the past that we were watching that together, and so far we've done 2 sessions, and the first time we watched 8 episodes that one day because we had all day. We were both off work. And then this time she had to come a little bit later in the day because I took Lucy to a vet appointment, my dog Lucy, to a vet appointment today at, it was like at 4, so we had to wait till after that. And we got 4 episodes watched, and I think there are only 4 left. Yeah, there's 16 episodes in season 1, so there's 4 more episodes to go for season 1. But I can't remember. I think there's like 7 seasons of Medium. Can't remember 100%, but it's such a good show. Even in the first season, I'm enjoying so much. I haven't seen it in so many years, but I still remember a lot of these episodes that we're watching from the first season because they just stuck with me because the writing is really good and it's such a good show. So that was fun. Lucy just had to go to the vet for a yearly checkup and I think a Bordetella vaccine. She did not like it. She is kind of a nervous Nelly of a dog, and so she doesn't like her routine being broken, and she doesn't like meeting new people, and so she kind of sat there and just like shivered when the doctor was looking at her. But she wasn't aggressive or anything. She was just very scared, visibly nervous. Poor thing. So she got her shot and she basically didn't even feel it. She didn't react at all. But she did a good job. It was a quick appointment, and then we went back home. While Katie and I were watching Medium, my husband Matt and my son Casey were working on their new stained glass projects. My husband finished his first one, and it turned out pretty cool. I do have some footage of it in my vlog that'll come out this week, so if you follow my vlogs, you'll see that there. Casey, on the other hand, His first project he started for stained glass was extremely intricate. And since we're just kind of learning right now, we suggested to him that maybe he put a pause on that one and maybe come up with a different design that was a lot simpler, just to make it easier for him to learn on. So that's what he was doing, was drawing out his new design. And he drew this really cool, like, geometric sword. It's like symmetrical on both sides and it looks really awesome. And I'm gonna, probably after I'm done recording this voiceover, I'm gonna kind of trace it in my digital art program so that I can print it out for him so that he has his pattern to start working on cutting the glass for tomorrow. So that's exciting. And meanwhile, I still haven't gotten any farther with my stained glass project. I cut out all the pieces and I started grinding the first one so I could learn how to use the grinder. And then I just have not had a chance to get out there and work on it more because I have to, I don't get much time to work on anything during the work week because I work so late. Like I start working late and then I end late. And then the grinder makes noise and it's in the garage, which is like on the other side of my husband's and my bedroom. So I'm worried about waking Matt up if I use the grinder like after work because he's usually asleep by then. So I haven't had a chance to work on it. I might work on it some this weekend because I'd like to get, I'd like to complete it. I feel like this like stained glass thing is a bit more hands-on than I tend to like to be with my projects. I'm an artsy person, but I'm not a crafty person. I don't know if that makes sense. A lot of people kind of lump arts and crafts together and assume that if you're good at one or you enjoy one, you'd enjoy both. But I'm not a huge crafts person. I guess diamond painting is a craft, but to me, it isn't quite the same. It's on the, paint by number and cross stitch side of things, which to me are more artsy. I don't know. Stained glass is a whole different beast, and there's so many steps to it. First, you have to figure out your pattern, and then you have to cut all the glass, and then you have to grind all the glass, and then you have to surround each piece with like this, there's a word for it that I have now forgotten. It's like a little, it's like metallic tape almost, but then you put flux on that and then you solder the pieces together and the solder sticks to that like tape that you wrapped it with. I'm not explaining this well, but anyway, there's a lot of steps. And then if you get done soldering and you want your soldering, like the seams, if you don't want them to be silver or chrome colored, then you have to cover it with a patina. And my husband still hasn't done that with his one that he finished, but he does plan to. So anyway, there's just a lot of steps and it's really finicky. And there is the possibility of glass slivers, which is something that always makes me nervous. So I don't know if it's 100% for me, but I love watching them work on it, my husband and son. And Matt's new project is like a sea turtle with like the ocean behind it, and it's gonna look really cool. So I love watching them do that together. It was nice to walk out into the garage today and see them both out there rocking out to music and working on their projects. And Casey's been spending a lot of time by himself in his room lately. He's at that teenager stage of life. So anything that gets him involved with hanging out with his old folks is something that makes me happy. So I'm just glad that they're, doing stuff together, I guess. It sounds like tomorrow Casey's going to go visit with my dad for a while. And this past week, he visited with him quite a bit because my dad took him on the second camping trip of the summer. So they went back to the same place they went last time and just had a bit of extra camping time, just the two of them. The time before that, it was Casey and my nephew Preston and my dad. And this time it was just Casey and my dad. for just 2 nights because I guess my dad didn't get enough camping the first time, so they got to do it a little bit more, and that was really nice. They almost didn't even get to go, though, because of something that happened with my dad's dog, Apollo, the Thursday evening before that. So this was weird, guys. My dad had come to visit us and get Casey ready for camping and talk about camping and everything. But when he showed up, he told me he noticed that his dog Apollo just wasn't acting normal that day, and he hadn't been since earlier that morning. And Casey noticed it too, because usually my dad brings Apollo over and tosses him up on Casey's bed, and Apollo will just start playing with him, and like puppies do. He's not very old. He's 8 months old. This time it seemed like he couldn't focus, and he was not wanting to play. He wasn't lethargic, because it was almost like he was restless. It was the opposite of lethargic. He couldn't calm down, and he was panting. And when my dad got home later that evening, it was like Apollo couldn't get comfortable. He kept trying to lay down, and then he'd get right back up, and he was just not focused. His eyes were not focused on anything. It was weird. And originally he was gonna try to wait the night and see if Apollo felt better the next day, but he did end up taking him into the emergency vet just because he started to worry that maybe Apollo had swallowed a piece of a stick and it stuck in his throat, and maybe that's why he couldn't get comfortable. He didn't know what was going on, but it was not normal. And so he was worried. He took him into the emergency vet, and you guys, this is really bizarre. The doctor took a look at him and said, "It looks like he's high," which obviously my dad had not seen him get into anything. They go on walks, but my dad's, watching him the whole time. And so the doctor did blood work, and it came back positive for a depressant, benzodiazepine, something like that. I forget, that's not right. And also cocaine. This dog had been drugged all to heck, and it was really scary. My dad's not sure if he, when he was walking him, he ate something off the ground that contained both those substances, or we don't know how it happened, but he got fluids and some medicine to counteract those effects, and we were really worried there would be, long-term effects because he's just a little puppy, and we're not sure what kind of dosage of these things he got. It must have been, clearly it was enough to really affect his behavior and stuff. So we were worried about his neurological health or whatever. Because the next day he still wasn't back to normal. And luckily, after a few days, he did start to return to his usual self. In fact, by Saturday, which is when my daughter Sam and her boyfriend were here, and my dad brought Apollo over that day to visit, he was much more his usual self, much more active and playful and all those things like usual. But it was scary. It was wild. Definitely not a diagnosis we expected. And I guess it just hit home that he really needs to be watched every second, I guess. I don't know what happened, but I'm just glad he's okay. But yeah, and especially glad he was better in time for Sam and Adrian's visit, because they had so much fun playing with him when my dad brought him over to play, because he really likes them, and I got some cute pictures of him cuddling with them and stuff. So yeah, Sam's visit was awesome. They came down Friday evening last week, and Sam made us dinner that first night they were here. She made it's like this tomato and bean soup, kind of a thick soup, almost like a chili. And we had some cheesy breadsticks with it, and it was very filling. It had like tofu and miso paste and stuff. Not things that I have ever eaten before, because I think, she's a bit more adventurous in the cooking field than I am, and I tend to make things that are pretty simple and pretty standard, I think, for the most part. I like to try new recipes every now and then, but they're always something I know I'm going to like and not something that I am not sure whether I'll like. I'm not very adventurous. So it was fun to try something so new and to enjoy it so much. And I felt bad because, she'd worked all day and then driven all the way up here to visit. And then she made us dinner. Like we went to the store together and got the ingredients that we needed, and she made us dinner, and it was so good. But yeah, I really appreciated that she did that. And I think she just likes to cook sometimes, Yeah, that was her idea. So I just felt bad, but she was totally into it. And then after dinner, we actually watched Deadpool, the original Deadpool movie, because when it first came out, I believe Sam was still in middle school, and there was no way I was going to let her watch that movie back then. So she actually had never seen it, but now that she's, 22, it's past the time where it's okay for her to watch that kind of thing. So we all watched it together because I had mentioned that I really want to see Deadpool and Wolverine, because I haven't seen it yet. I can't convince my husband to take me to the theater to watch it. But so we watched the first one, and then maybe sometime in the future we can see the third one together if she watches the second one sometime in between there. I think they enjoyed it. We got to have popcorn from our home popcorn popper thing. Matt made that for us while we watched the movie, so that was really nice. The next day we woke up and called my dad and let him know we were up, and he came over. We played games a lot of the day, but then I had to do some cooking because we decided to have a family barbecue that evening. We haven't done a summer barbecue for the whole family yet this year, and we really wanted to do at least one. So we invited the whole extended family to come and eat ribs and hot dogs and corn on the cob. We made camp beans, which is something that my husband's family likes to make when they're camping, where you take green beans and bacon and onions and some seasoning and butter and you put it in foil and then you cook it over the fire. So we made that and strawberry shortcake for dessert. And it was delicious. My dad made his famous potato salad that is Sam's absolute favorite. So she was happy. And it was really nice to see everybody and hang out with everybody for a while. There were games of pool and darts going on. And yeah, we had a great time seeing everybody. And then after most of the family left and it was just Sam and Adrian and me and everyone else was pretty much asleep, we actually started playing a game that I bought 6 months ago, a long time ago. It's the Firefly board game, and I found it at Barnes & Noble, and I wasn't sure if I'd ever get to play it because I felt like it would take a really long time to learn. It's kind of complicated, and my husband and son don't really play games like that very often, and so since I don't see the rest of my family very much, I wasn't sure when or if we'd ever play it, but Sam and Adrian wanted to play it, so we got it out and we set it up and we read the rule book front to back and started playing it that night, and we got the hang of it pretty quickly. It took us a while to get through all the rules and figure out what to do, but once we got through that and started playing, it wasn't that complicated, and it was actually really, really fun. So we got started that night, but it got too late for us to finish. So we took a blanket and covered it on the table and left a note to please leave it be and not disturb it because it was a game in progress. Casey's cousin Preston, my nephew, spent the night that night. So they were busy doing their own thing upstairs while Sam and Adrian and I were playing the game. But they slept in even later than we did the next day. So we got right back into playing it and finished the game the next day. And it was really a good time. So I'm excited to play that again sometime when I have people visiting who like to play those sort of games. Sam and Adrian are actually thinking about buying it too because they enjoyed it that much. So that was fun. We're still working on watching that show together. We had started watching it when they were visiting the time before this, and then they borrowed all the DVDs and haven't had a chance to watch any more since then because they were moving and they went on a trip to Mexico with Adrian's family, and so they've been busy. But we did watch a couple more episodes of it this last weekend while they were here. And yeah, I'm very excited for them to get further on in that show so we can talk about it together. It's my favorite show, so every time I introduce somebody to it, it's like I get to watch it again and see it through their eyes for the first time. And that's why I like so much watching the reaction videos that people post to YouTube where they watch it for the first time. It's just like reliving it. And since we only got one half season and a movie, the more I can feel like I'm seeing it for the first time, like the better, you know? But anyway, that Sunday morning, Sam got up and made us a blueberry Dutch baby for breakfast, which it's like a big Dutch pancake. And we have a ton of blueberries that we pick off of our bush in the backyard, and more than we can use. So we've frozen a lot of them, but we had some fresh ones that we just picked. And so she used those to make a blueberry Dutch baby. And it was so good. I've never actually had a Dutch baby before. That was my first time trying it. And since it has so much egg content, it's less sugary than like a regular pancake. So that was really good for me. And then I put like sugar-free whipped cream on top, and it was so tasty. So yeah, that was twice Sam cooked a meal for us while she was here, which was really nice. So yeah, by the time we finished breakfast and then finished our Firefly game, my dad came over and we played more board games and stuff. I love playing board games, and I know that Sam and Adrian really love playing unique board games too, and they kind of have a collection going. So a few months back, a game that I had been seeing a lot online went on sale. And so I bought it intending to gift it to them for Christmas. And I knew it was gonna, I'd have to wait a long time before I gave it to them and everything. And I thought I could handle it, but they were here this weekend, and I was like, if I give it to them now, then we can spend the next several months playing it together, and we don't have to wait till Christmas to play it. So I totally failed, and I gave them one of their Christmas gifts early. It's called Outsmarted, and it's like, it's a trivia game, but you play it like with a tablet or a phone. And so all the questions are online, basically, which is cool because unlike a game like Trivial Pursuit that is a board game that you play with cards, all of the questions are continuously updated with current things that are happening, which is really cool. And also you can buy extra packs of extra theme packs of trivia questions to play. Like if you really like, for instance, 80s music, you could purchase that trivia pack and add it to the game board. So it's got a board that you play with actual like game pieces, who by the way are famous smart figures in history like Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, Cleopatra's in there, Amelia Earhart, stuff like that. So you get to choose to be your character, and then there's lots of spaces that you have to move through to get to these 6 rings all the way around the board, and you have to get into the ring and then answer a special question, and you get like a ring piece, and you have to collect all 6 ring pieces and then go and answer a final question to win the game. So it's kind of like Trivial Pursuit, but it's, a little more updated. And it was really fun. You can play it with teams or you can play individually. We played individually, but you could play with a lot of people if you wanted to have, teams. And the cool part about it is that we can play it over, Zoom or Discord or whatever, or over the phone. And you can connect your phone to the host device. So like if I'm here at home and they host the game at their house, I can like link into the game. Like for instance, if you're playing Jackbox TV, if you have the game code, you can play a game from anywhere. This is kind of like that. And so if they have the board game at their house, but they want to play a game with me while I'm at my house, I can link in with my phone and do all my rolling and question answering on my device, and they can just move my character around for me and stuff. So I'm hoping we can play that way, every once in a while. And so that's another reason why I gave it to them early, because I figured that we'd have more opportunities to play between now and Christmas. And yeah, so it became a housewarming gift because they just moved into their new apartment. So instead of a Christmas gift, it's a housewarming gift. And it was really fun. So I'm glad we got that and got to play it. Other games we played over the weekend were a Wordle game that I got as a gift a long time ago, a couple years ago. And it's basically just like the Wordle that you play on your phone, but you're competing against 3 other people, and then there's a judge who is the one that thought of the word and has to go around and tell you whether your pieces are green or yellow and stuff like that. So that's fun. And then we played a game called Azul, which I had bought for Sam and Adrian a few years ago as a gift, and I had never actually played it before, but they taught me how to play, and they taught my dad how to play, and Casey played that with them even, which was nice because it's hard to get him down to interact with everybody sometimes, but he liked that game. So yeah, it was just a really fun weekend full of gaming and watching TV with them and just hanging out. It was awesome. And they stayed all the way till after dinner time on Sunday, which usually on Sunday, if they're visiting for the weekend, they tend to leave sometime around noon, but this time they had more time. So we got to hang out much later, and we even got to go to dinner together on Sunday. So we went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and it was kind of crazy. We walked in, and there weren't that many tables full, but there was no one greeting anybody. And when we walked in, there was a group of 3 guys standing at like the hostess table or whatever, waiting to be seated. And after a little bit, they finally came over and seated them. And then by that time, several other people had come in, and the hostess area is like right inside the entrance. So people were just kind of crowding around there. So we kind of walked to the front after they seated the 3 guys who were there before us and checked in because we had been there, next after those 3 guys. So we checked in, and then we were told to sit down and our name would be called, when it was time to give us a table. And apparently Sam heard the next group go up and tell the hostess that they were there before us and that we had cut in front of them, which was just like a flat out lie, because when we walked in, the only people that were there was that group of 3 guys who had already been seated. So we waited quite a while, and then that group who lied got seated before us. So I went up to talk to the hostess and say, "Hey, you're doing a great job. I know things are kind of crazy busy," because we'd also heard another group of customers yell at one of the workers there because it was so slow. And she had mentioned they only have 6 servers right now, and it was really busy and stuff like that. So we said to the hostess, "You're doing a great job, but just, not sure you took our name," because she didn't actually take our name when she, got us checked in. And we noticed that the people who checked in after us were seated first, and we just wanted to let you know we were here before they were. And so anyway, they did get us seated next, and not only were they very slow, but they were out of like a whole list of things. They didn't have fries or like potato wedges or a bunch of different things. I think one of them was like the burger that was a current special, which my dad was planning to get. So it was kind of crazy. But the waitress who was helping us was actually not a waitress, but was the manager. And she was helping out the waitresses by, doing the waiting because they were so short-staffed. But we ordered cheese curds, and those come with like a Southwestern ranch like dip. And she was like, "I'm going to let you guys in on the best secret here at Buffalo Wild Wings. And I'm going to bring you the caramel dip to dip your cheese curds in." And I'm thinking to myself, cheese curds in caramel? Like, what? But when she brought it and I tried it, you guys, it was really good. So there's my tip for you. If you go to Buffalo Wild Wings and you order the cheese curds, order a side of caramel dip, and you'll be surprised. It's actually really good. It tasted like fair food. So anyway, I didn't have much of that because too much sugar in the caramel, but I did try it. I was brave and I tried it, and I'm glad I did because it was really good. So yeah, that was an eventful meal that we had with some drama there. Sam was so angry at those people who lied because she's like me and she hates injustice. Like when people cheat or lie at the expense of others, it just really makes her fume, and I'm that way too, but I'm less confrontational than she is. Like, we were actually seated in a table that was right next to the table of the people who lied. And so as we're walking over to get seated, Sam is just giving them this death glare. She's braver than I am, but that was really funny. So Sam and Adrian took off for home after we got done eating, and then Casey went with my dad for the camping trip. So I went home, and it was just Matt and me for a few days there, which isn't something that often happens. So it was kind of lonely because we kind of have opposite sleeping schedules. Like, he is an early riser. He works at 7 a.m. during the weeks. So he usually goes to bed at like 9 or 10 and wakes up around 6:30. And I'm often awake until 3 or 4 a.m. and sometimes, later. Like, sometimes I'm going to bed as he's getting up. So that's just the way our bodies work. So we didn't see a whole lot of each other, but there were a few hours in the evening, like sometimes during those few days where I got done working and he was still awake, and we started watching a new show together. It's actually an old show, but it's called The Pretender, and it's a show that I watched with my dad back when it was originally airing in 1997, I think. I think I was like 16. So a long time ago, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere since. So when I saw that Amazon brought it onto Prime, I was so thrilled because it was such a good show. And it's kind of unfortunate that it was canceled. I don't remember how many seasons in, but it was canceled kind of suddenly, so they didn't really get to like finish it, and it kind of ended abruptly. But it was such a good show, and this one my husband is actually interested in enough that we've gotten through several episodes and he's not like wanting to quit already, so I think he might like it enough that we can keep watching it together. I hope so, because I love that show. As for what I'm watching in like my own time, I got through a few episodes of Supernatural. I haven't been watching much of it recently because I've been watching more YouTube if I'm watching something. But I did finish the graphic audio versions of White Sand by Brandon Sanderson, the graphic novel that he wrote. And it was a bit tough because of all the sound effects they put into those. I talked about this, I think, last time. So it was really hard sometimes to hear what was going on. But I was able to get through all three like sections of it. They have it separated into three different, basically, sub books, I guess. And I finished them all before the end of August. So that means if they do leave my library, because I got them for free and it's probably temporary. If they do leave my library, I've at least listened to them and I can cross that off my list of Cosmere content to consume. I like the story quite a bit, but I kind of feel like it was a bit, probably because it's a graphic novel in its original form, it was a bit shorter content than I'm used to getting from Brandon Sanderson. And it still had some great twists and really good writing, of course, but it wasn't as something I could sink my teeth into as much as some of his other books. So I'm looking forward to getting back into the Stormlight Archive reread I'm doing. I need to start that up again because December's going to be here before we know it, and then the next book will be out, and I need to catch up and remember what's happening in the story so I can be ready to read it in December. So I think the next book I read might be Words of Radiance, the second book in that series, because that's where I'm at. So yeah, excited for that. I did read one other book after I finished the graphic audio White Sand trilogy set, and that was a physical book that I had been lent by my sister-in-law Katie, and I actually finished that last night because I knew she was coming over today and I wanted to be able to give that back to her. She lent me, I think, 6-ish books that she used to love reading when she was younger, and I had finished one, The Fairy Rebel, quite a while ago and given that back. But I haven't done much physical reading since then, and I'm feeling kind of guilty that I'm holding these books hostage from her collection. So I did read another one yesterday, and it took me longer than I expected because it is a kid's book, like it's a young adult kid's book. But it was a bit longer than like a really young kid's book. So I was up reading till like 6 a.m. this morning, but I really enjoyed it. It's called The Velvet Room, and it was written, I think, in like 1965 or something. I can't remember the author's name offhand. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. Zilpha Keatley Snyder. What an interesting name. But yeah, apparently she's written a lot of like young adult children's books. And I actually have another one by her that Katie also lent me. It's called The Season of Horses or The Season of Ponies, something like that. And so that's another one that I have to read soon. But I was glad to at least get one of those off my list and be able to give that back to Katie today. And it was a really good book. It reminded me of the way I used to feel reading The Secret Garden when I was young. That was one of my absolute favorite books, still is probably one of my favorite books ever. And it had that same kind of vibe where there's a secret place that a young girl finds that is all her own, and there's a mystery to it. And yeah, it was a really good book. Other general news, we did get our new bed, my husband and I, and we're able to get our old one upstairs to the guest room before Sam and Adrian came to visit. So they got to sleep in the nice king size bed, and I felt good about that because the past like 2 years they've had to come sleep on like our camp mattress on the floor. So it felt really good to have an actual bed for our guests that they could sleep in and be comfortable. And our new bed is we're adjusting to it. It was a lot firmer than our old one. Our old one had like a 3-inch foam topper on it, and this one's like a pillow top and it's ultra plush, but the salesperson who sold us the bed did mention that it takes a while to kind of break it in and get it to feel as soft as the one that we tested out at the store, because that one's been like the floor model for 2 years and it's softer, than this one feels. But we are enjoying the ability to adjust the base and like put our foot part of the bed up, and our heads can like sit up, so when we're watching TV it's really comfortable to just be able to like kind of not have to prop a bunch of pillows behind our heads to be able to sit up and watch TV. The bed just kind of does that. I remember when I was a kid, my Uncle Stan had a bed that would do that, and I thought it was so fancy at the time. And I've never had a bed that does this, so it's kind of new and unique and fun for me. And it only took a couple of days for our bodies to get used to the new feel, so we're not waking up sore in the morning and stuff like that, so that's nice. So I think it'll be just fine. I'm really enjoying it. Also, it's pretty funny to like adjust the bed and like raise the feet when the dogs are on the bed. They're like, "What's going on?" So yeah, that's been fun. Diamond painting wise, I've been making quite a bit of progress on my WIPs. This one, Rose Library, I am right now currently I have 19 sections left on it, and it takes me about around an hour to do each section. So depending on how much time I get to diamond paint and how often I roll that WIP, I could have it done this month, but I'm not 100% focusing on it because I have other WIPs. Some like Stargazing by Maddie Arts is my round WIP right now, and I just recently finished the outside border, so now I get to start working inward. And I have 24 sections left on that one that are the same size as the sections on Rose Library because they're both the perforated cover. And it takes me less than an hour to finish a regular section on that one because it's rounds and it goes a little quicker, and there's a lot more color blocking on that one. So I don't think that one will even take me as long to finish as what I have left to do on Rose Library. But it just depends on, like, I'm not sure if I'll have any finishes this month because neither of these are very close to the completion point. And I don't have much time during the actual week to diamond paint. Work's been crazy, y'all. And it's exciting stuff that I can't talk about, but it definitely has upped my like daily task list. So I end the day feeling like I need to go to bed pretty much after I'm done with work. But sometimes I get a section in before it's bedtime. And I am almost completely caught up with my cross-stitch conversion temperature project. So I think, in the middle of August, and I just need to do like the past couple of weeks or 10 days or so, and then I'll be all caught up. So that's been fun to see that taking shape. I did order the rest of the drills that I will need for the background. So I'm excited about that because I can start filling it in as I go instead of having to go in later after all the shelves are done and do all the background. So yeah, that's exciting. So I think that's all the updates I have for you guys this week. So now it's time to go into our yay or nay section for the week. And the question that I asked last time was, are you or have you ever been a collector of something specific? And this one was a pretty resounding yay. So it was 14-1. 14 of you said that yes, you collect, and only one person said they're not really a collector. So I found that interesting. Our only nay this time was Lena, or Library of Diamonds. She said, nay, I guess some people would like to think I collect books and diamond paintings, but those are things I either read or work on, but I'm not out to have a huge collection of unread books or a DP stash. I get them as I go. As for other stuff like Funkos, cards, all those things, I don't. Totally fair. I wouldn't consider it collecting if you only get them because you're going to use them, and then when you're done with them, you don't collect them just to have them. Alicia Colors and Crafts said, I'm not a collector of things, but of supplies of crafts I'm into, definitely. Relatable. Gail Pierce says, yay, I'm a total collector. When I was young, I had quite a Snoopy collection. Everyone knew, and I got them at birthdays and Christmas. Oh, that's so nice. I love it when people you love know you enough to know what to get you and that you're totally into a thing and they're all supportive of it. That's so sweet. Miranda Randall says, yay, I'm definitely a collector and have collected many things over the years. I love collecting wax melts that are shaped like food or other seasonal things, and I currently have a whole pantry full of them. Also, when my daughter was a baby, there is a pacifier company called Ryan and Rose, and I collected all the new color pacifiers they came out with and got the matching pacifier clips that went with them so that her pacifier would coordinate with her outfit that day. Yes, my husband thought I was crazy, but it made sense to me. That's amazing. That's so fun. It's like, that's not much different than getting a diamond painting pen to coordinate with your diamond painting that you're doing. I totally get that. In fact, Jeannie Full said, diamond painting pens, not sure how it happened. As for me, I collected keychains when I was younger. I've always been a collector. I also collected troll dolls, the ones with like the sticky up hair, and My Little Ponies and Littlest Pet Shop, a lot of different toy lines when I was a kid. And then keychains from everywhere I went. I had them all like linked together, so I had this huge chain of keychains, which is funny because like when I was a kid, I didn't have any keys to use keychains with, but I just really liked keychains. Nowadays, I also have a diamond painting pen collection. It's not super huge, but they're my weakness, definitely. Like, if I spend money I shouldn't on diamond painting stuff, it's usually on a pen. They're so pretty. So for this week's question, since we're almost to September, it's yay or nay, do you plan to participate in Drills and Chills? Let me know down below. And if you do, and you know what you're going to be working on, which kit, let me know that too. I'm so excited to hear. That said, everybody, I think that's about all I have for you today. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I will DAC you in the next one. Bye, everybody.